Okay, so this is how you're gonna set up your book for your end bands. I have two boards on the sides because I like to put my needles into them like while I'm working. You don't necessarily need them there, but I find that it makes it easier. And then this is a leather cord, and I just put it in some rice paper. You can just use any kind of like tissue paper or something that's easy to puncture through. And then you're gonna glue it on the edge like this. And you're gonna leave like the tiniest space in between the core and the actual text block. So if you look at it this way, once you glue it on, you want there to be like just a small space in between that you can see through, because that's where you're going to be puncturing through the paper. So I'm going to glue mine on. Okay, now you are going to need your thread, whatever thread you're using. I'm using two colors for this one. I'm gonna do like a purple and a white, and I'm gonna alternate them. So I think I need more than this, so I'm gonna get more. I like to have like an arm's length of thread at a time, and it's, you know, probably too much, but I would rather have more thread than not enough. I just find it easier. I find it harder when you have like a short piece of thread, so arm's length is good. And obviously, like, if you have a smaller text block, then you need less. But this one is like kind of hefty, so we'll do this. And you're gonna take your threads and you're going to tie them together at the end, just in a little knot. And I'm not very good at tying threads, so bear with me here. Wow, I shouldn't have showed this on camera. Okay, so I have them tied together. I'm gonna put needles on both threads. So what you're gonna do is you are going to find the center of the very left signature, and you're gonna put your needle through, and you're going to find the first kettle stitch, and that's where you're going to try to puncture your needle through. So I'm gonna use my, oh, that one went through really easily. Okay. But usually I use my bone folder and I push the needle through with the bone folder, because if there's glue on your spine already, it's like really hard to push it through. I promise I sort of know what I'm doing here. Okay, you are going to do this from the back. Hello. So you are going to go in here first and find the center and poke a hole, because you need that hole. You need to know where the hole is. But when you first start, you're actually going to go from here, from the back, if I can find it, and you're going to go through this way. Good job, Chelsea. You got it. Okay. And here we go. We have this now. And you're going to take the loose threads, like the end, and no, before you do that, I lied. You're gonna take your other one and you're gonna go up and through here into the same hole, and you're going to make a loop. And this is where, while holding this tight, you have to just constantly be holding things tight while you're doing this. So we're going to pull this all, oops. We're gonna pull this all the way through, and look at that, you have your very first loop around. Let me see if I can zoom in a smidge here. Okay. And now that you have your first loop, you're gonna take these threadies, pulling everything tight, and you're going to glue it down because you need it to not move. So I'm gonna cut a little bit off at the end so they're not so long. Once again, put some glue onto my finger. I'm gonna pull these tight and I'm going to glue down these threads onto my spine. And we're gonna wait 30 seconds to a minute for that to completely dry, and then I'm gonna come back. Okay, so the glue is dry. Now you have your first loop, and then you have your thread coming over the top, and you are going to take your needle and you're gonna puncture through, right underneath the core, through the rice paper or tissue paper, whatever you used, and you're gonna make your second loop. And basically, you're going and constantly keeping pressure. And you're going to do this as many times as you want until you want to switch colors. So I'm doing 5 loops and then I'm gonna switch colors. So that's 2. And we're just gonna do the same thing. 3. Wow, it's really hard to see with the camera in the way. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit. Okay. So 3 and 4. Oops. It's a little rough at the beginning, but it gets easier as you go on. Okay, so we got 4 loops, and now this is our 5th one. You just bring it over, and instead of puncturing it through again, I want to switch colors. So I'm just gonna put my needle in my board, my scrap board there, and I'm gonna get my other color, and I'm gonna bring it over the top, and then I'm going to puncture with the new color, and it's going to make kind of a loop over top of the color, like right there, if you can see it. And then you're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna do 5 loops of the white. 1, keeping everything tight. 1. Trying not to let your needle drop off of your thread. 3. Okay. Also trying not to get your other color looped in. 3. So this is 4. And then 5, and we're going to switch colors again. So back to the purple, and we're bringing it over top and puncturing again right next to where the white is. Sometimes with this technique, it's easy to puncture a hole too far to the right, and then you have gaps in between your threads. So I try to make that the punctures like as close as possible, or sometimes just like right underneath where the last thread was. Okay, so I'm gonna make my first tie down now, and I'm gonna do it in the center of this. Oh, why is this one weird? hold on. Oh, is this ink? No. Where is the center of this? Okay, it's here. So again, we're taking this, we're trying to find kind of where the kettle stitch is, and then we're going to push our needle through, if I can. Holy shit, this one's hard. Okay, there we go. Got it through. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just a mess right now. Okay, and whoops, don't pull it on top of the other color. Right next to it. Okay, so now we have our first tie down. So you put it through the kettle stitch, and then it's gonna come out of the back right here, and you're just gonna continue on as you were, but instead of going through the pages again, you're gonna just go through here. And that's it. You pretty much do this the whole time. And I tie down with the same color every time. Technically, if you really want to, you can tie down every single signature, or you can tie down with every color. I don't find that necessary. But if you want it to be more stable, more, just have more tie downs, like, you do you go ahead and do that. And you can do as many colors as you want as well. I'm just doing 2 because, I don't know, I like 2. What was that? That was 3, 4, and then here's 5. Wait, is this 5? Oh yeah, here's 5. And then I'm going to switch colors again. And we're going to white. Two, 3. I'm probably gonna just speed up all of this in the middle, and then I'm gonna go back to normal time at the end so you can see how I end it. But this is pretty much it. You just do this all the way across. Something that I did want to mention is when you're doing tie downs, so every time I do a purple color, I'm going to do a tie down. But when you're doing tie downs, don't do the tie down like for the first thing before you do a loop. Like for right now, I'm switching colors. I wouldn't want to immediately go into the signature and do the tie down because it looks kind of weird. It looks kind of like it does at the beginning and end right here. Let me zoom in. So if you can see at the beginning and at the very end, you'll see it at the end. It kind of goes down a little bit. Oh God, don't look at my nails. It looks not as good like that. So if you are going to do a tie down, wait until you at least have one loop before you do the tie down, because then it won't get that weird pull, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna do one loop with this one first, and then we'll do a tie down. So there's one loop. And then we're gonna go into this signature. I really need to get this out of my face. Okay. And we have a tie down. Do a tie down here. Okay, and I think this will be our last one. Again, my rounded spine is like a little bit weird at the end here, so please ignore that. Please ignore. So for this last one, I'm gonna do what I would do normally with the white. I'm gonna do 5 little loops. 3, 4. Then for this last one, I'm gonna actually do a tie down. I'm gonna put it through the signature, sorry. So I'm gonna tie this one down first. What the fuck? Why did it do that? Okay. So white is through and we're done with that one. And then I'm going to take the purple and instead of doing any loops, I'm just going to push it through that same hole at the end. Whoops. And pull it all the way through. And then we are done. And whoops, sorry. Turn this around so you can see. I'm going to do the same thing at the end. I'm going to cut it and then I'm going to glue these 2 pieces down. Pull them as tight as I can and glue. And then once this has dried a little bit, you can also put some glue on the tie down strings here. And then I'm gonna show you in a second how to trim the ends and stuff, which is pretty self-explanatory, but you don't want a bunch of extra like tissue paper at the end there. So I'm gonna cut it up into the text block, cut that off. Good thing you could see what I was doing there, huh? Cut this and then just cut away the edge. And then you're gonna trim the edges and glue those as well. Okay, and then just at the very end, you're going to trim, and then you're just gonna put a dot of glue on the end here, and that's it. Dots of glue. Again, with my finger. Just so, oops, that was a little too much. Whatever. Just so nothing unravels, because you don't want all your hard work to go down the drain at the very end. Hey.